Hello there, my name is Chris Palmer. In today's SEO Google stacking video, I want to share with you, long gone are the days where we are having our initial G-stack, okay? Now this G-stack is going to consist of our sheets, our docs, the overall drive, right? Everything that encompasses the actual stack. Along with that, of course, you'll have your AWS. You're also going to have your G site. Now, this to the side here is going to feed into usually a Web 2.0. Along with that, this is going to point into another AWS, and it goes on, and these are generally going to go over to the money site. And this is the stack. This part, along with this, going over to here, this is our stack. Long gone is the day of these simple entity drive stacks. Now it's all about creating a link buffering hub, a epicenter of link authority building. So now what I want to go ahead and do for you today is I want to walk you through one portion, a piece of how you can significantly increase the power of your Google SEO stacks. So in this video, what I'll give to you is also going to be a portion, a piece, a PDF in which I've created to chrispalmermarketing.com/Google stacking. This is the only way to get this particular PDF and walk through. It's literally a step-by-step guide that will certainly get you in position. But there's a piece that I've added, which I've been working on with a chiropractor. I mean, I've had a lot of practice with this very particular piece, which we saw massive success just by doing one thing. And this is what I want to share with you today in today's video, is how if you're already utilizing stacks and Google Stacks, if you're watching this video, I'm sure you are. And if you are, there's one little tweak that you can do, and this is creating the hub or the epicenter and powering up everything that's already coming in and being rewarded. So Chris, what do you mean by this? What I mean by this is by doing two very simple searches. By doing a search for your brand, much like this, like say Chris Palmer Marketing, okay? There's going to be authoritative assets that Google is already recognizing alongside with your brand, business, or service. But let me rewind that a little bit. When we're building out our stacks, there's a particular asset that we send a lot of links to, and also traffic. Not just traffic, but also links. We pump a lot of authority into this particular asset. Why? Because it can take it, and we know that it may not be ranking like they used to, Google sites, but it still passes a lot of power. So by literally going out and doing a search for your brand, business, or service, let me walk you through this briefly, and taking a look at what Google's already rewarding alongside your brand and business. Like I just did a search for my brand, business, or service. So if we take a look, we see Crunchbase, we see Facebook, my Facebook group, right? We're also seeing Twitter, that's an authoritative site. We see Yelp. We see MapQuest, we see Monta, right? And the list goes on and on. So if we take what we know that Google's showing us, it's showing us digital references that Google's giving us credit for next to our brand, right? These are authoritative citations, digital references. So by taking those and literally embedding them into the site that we're going to pump up with traffic and links, this is starting the epicenter, the hub, the buffering hub, the entity building hub, the authority building hub. By putting this in here and powering this up, we're powering up the assets that are already powering up our asset. Aside from that, I want you to take it one step further, because as I've been building these out for very select clients, ones that can pay for the time, because it's not an easy process, but the ones that want it, the savvy users that want it and are willing to pay for the time for it to be done right, what we do is this. When you're taking a look inside of your elements, it's no longer about building out these assets and pointing them directly in. Now it's about, like I said, and I'll say it again, it's about building an entity and authority building an epicenter. Now, let me draw that out, and then I'll share with you how easy it is to do this. So if we have our G site, okay, or our G stack, this encompasses our sheets, this has our docs, this has our, our drawings, this has our slides in it, okay? Now, along with that, we have a G site, a secondary G site. We have our AWS assets, right? And then aside from that, we probably are going to use now going to be Google Cloud. These are some things that have changed of how I've been doing it. So we're utilizing Google Cloud now. We're using AWS, and we're also using Microsoft. These are three very powerful assets that can be utilized in conjunction with the already powerful and authoritative and leveraging the power of Google. So if we have this as our initial meat stack, okay, I'm just going to use myself as an example, chrispalmermarketing.com. We pull up our asset. When I come inside of here, I'm going in here to the actual backlinks. When I'm on top of these backlinks, what am I looking for? Well, I want to know, out of all of these backlinks, which ones are follow and which ones have at least some type of authority score. Then you want to come right over here to the right-hand side and export those. Now, why would we be doing this? Well, if we divert your attention back to the actual stack and how I'm showing you how to go ahead and do this and power up everything, when you come in here, each of these specific anchor text rich assets are pointing to one of those assets, along with internal assets that I've built. Now, I want you to take it one more step, one more big step. So I've literally gone out and grabbed every single link that had any type of equity to it that's already connected and already fueling my website. I went out and grabbed all of the follow, all of the authoritative links. And what I did was I created my normal stack, right? And then everything included inside of here, inside of the actual stack, is also going to be the links that are already pointing in. So this way, this is all one unit, one epicenter that's all helping the finish line, the finish goal, the actual money site. So now, not only are we incorporating and creating the entity drive stack to power up the other properties and act as buffers to point to the money site, but I'm also including the links that are already pointing in. And on top of that, when we're looking up our brand, business, or service, okay, what other authority sources is Google already showing with our brand, business, and service? What's already here? What I mean is like your montage, your MapQuests, do you have a Crunchbase? Do you have other authoritative citations? And a citation or a digital reference doesn't have to be just a citation or something with an NAP. Anything that Google's rewarding next to your brand name, it can be a guest post. If it's considered an authoritative co-citation, a backlink, anything that's associated with your brand and Google showing prominence, when I do a brand search, I want to embed that into my Google site. You have to embed it into your Google site. Then you take all of your backlinks and you put those inside of your assets within the actual stack. This way I'm powering up everything that's authoritative and everything that's already pointing at me. I'm helping power up the whole campaign all at once. And I can do it cheaply, I can do it quickly, and I can do it safely. I hope that this helps you.